I told you over the past few years, I've been able to stay at some of the fanciest hotels I've ever seen in my life and have received elite status level benefits without actually ever having elite status in any of these hotel chains. And much like how this wig is overpriced and unnecessary, the same can be said for hotel statuses for the right type of traveler. For example, if you wanted to stay at any of these Hilton properties and you wanted to experience the highest level of status at all of them, like if you were Hilton Diamond, which is the highest status you could earn with Hilton hotels, you would get a few benefits like getting bonus points for all of your stays paid in cash, a room upgrade upwards to a suite when available, and complimentary breakfast for every day of your stay. And typically this could be earned in a few different ways. One, do 30 stays, do 60 nights in a Hilton hotel, or earn 120,000 base points in a calendar year, and wham bam, now you have your Hilton Honors Diamond status. But what if I told you there was an even easier way to earn that top status for way less money? Well, what a lot of people do in the credit card points and miles community do is they sign up for a credit card like the Hilton Honors Aspire card, pay a $550 annual fee, and you would end up getting complimentary diamond status, meaning you don't have to stay a single night in a Hilton hotel. So long as you own this card, you have the top status in all of Hilton hotels. Same goes for Marriott. They have some of the best hotels in the entire world as well. And typically to earn their top status around Titanium Elite and Ambassador Elite, you're going to need anywhere between 75 nights and 100 nights per year and a lot of money spent to get basically more points and a room upgrade. But much like the Hilton Aspire card, you could also just get the American Express Brilliant card, pay a $650 annual fee, and they will give you complimentary Platinum Elite status, which gives you some of the similar benefits that you get with the highest tiers, just minus some less points and a few other things. What about Hyatt? Well, Hyatt has some of the best status perks you could possibly get, and it's actually the hardest status to earn out of all of the points and miles game, where you have to actually stay 60 elite qualifying nights or earn 100,000 base points in a calendar year to get globalist status, which gives you a lot of different things like suite upgrades, complimentary breakfast, where they usually have like breakfast vouchers, late checkout at 4 p.m. And it's a very powerful program. Some would even say is better than Marriott or even Hilton's top benefits. But what if I told you that for the right person who doesn't travel as much as somebody who would earn all these statuses naturally, there's actually an even easier and cheaper way to experience all elite level benefits without having to get the credit card or without having to stay any nights whatsoever? Well, I'm talking about three separate experiences that I've personally had over the past couple of years of being in this game, where I actually stayed at a Marriott hotel, a Hilton hotel, and a Hyatt hotel, where I had none of the elite statuses whatsoever associated with these brands, but I actually experienced the top level of status for all of them for a fraction of the price. Of course, I'm talking about what's considered preferred hotel programs. And these are programs that work directly with these brands. For example, for Hyatt, you have something called Hyatt Privé. For Marriott, you have Marriott Stars. For Hilton, we have something called Hilton Impresario, and they all give the exact same benefits. That being a complimentary room upgrade, which we saw on all of the other statuses earlier before, like Hyatt Globalist, a $100 experience credit that can be used usually towards the on-site restaurant, on-site spa, a lot of different places, once per stay, daily breakfast for two guests every single day, which usually amounts to about $60 to $80 every single day of your stay that you book in this way. And a majority of the time, you could also get early check-in, and I've always gotten late checkout as well, which again is another perk from those other statuses where you don't even need status to book in this way. If you're wondering about what all this is, just know that you've probably heard about this in a different light. For example, the Amex Platinum card. We've heard of this card from time and time again. And if we go down a little bit, you can see there's something called the $200 hotel credit. And if we flip this around, we can see it's supposed to be used towards either the Fine Hotels and Resorts collection or the Hotel collection, both which, if booked in their particular ways, give you benefits such as, again, room upgrade at check-in when available, complimentary credit valued at $100, spa credit, all these different things, all the same benefits and more that you would be getting just if you had the highest level of status between all of these different hotels, but without actually having to have the high status associated with it. Now, I understand that it sounds a little bit too good to be true, and in a lot of ways it's not, but in some ways it is a little bit too good to be true, because there's one main discrepancy on whether or not this is going to be valuable to you or if it's not. The first one is that if you're booking in this particular way, and I'm going to show examples of how I've done this to recoup like the entire cost of an entire hotel based on the credits and stuff that it gave me, but I'm going to go through all the math a little bit later. But this all hinges on the fact that you have to pay cash. That's right. For most of these stays, you have to pay cash for all of these hotels, which for a lot of us in the game, we want to use all of our points. Like I want to use my Hilton points or my Amex points, my Chase points, Hyatt points to book all of these fancy hotels to get my status benefits for many, many days with as little out of pocket as possible. And if you're somebody who's traveling extremely often, status from the credit cards or just buy on stays is going to beat this method hands down, no matter what. But for the occasional traveler, for the person who just does maybe a weekend trip every now and again, this is a way to elevate your experience higher than anything else and for as cheaply as possible. So, what is my true experience with this? Well, like I said, I did a Marriott, a Hilton, and a Hyatt. I'm going to start with the Marriott experience and recount the entire thing from start to finish. Firstly, we'll talk about American Express's Fine Hotels and Resorts collection. At a stay I did many years ago called the Ballantine, I actually went there for Valentine's Day, so I did my Valentine's at the Ballantine, and that's the way it should be. This is a hotel that was booked with my Amex Platinum card in mind to get that $200 hotel credit. It is through this Fine Hotels and Resorts collection, and when I actually booked it, it was a $300 hotel. Literally just about, I think it was like 290, but let's just say for easy math, it was $300 cash out of pocket that I paid in cash. Now, of course, it was nice because I used my Platinum card and I got $200 back for that hotel credit, but for this example, I'm not even going to factor in getting that $200 credit. So in that example, then I paid $300 cash out of pocket for an overnight stay in this hotel. And I ended up receiving a few different things. So 12 p.m. check-in when available. I think we ended up checking in around 1 or 2 o'clock. So a couple of hours prior to normal check-in for most hotels out there. Room upgrade upon arrival. I did, in fact, get a room upgrade for this stay, and I could probably show some pictures on the screen. We got a first floor room, which apparently was like the only upgrade option, to be honest, and we got a little bit better view of the parking lot. It's not really a hotel where you have a good view for the most part. Daily breakfast for two. Now, no, this is not like a typical breakfast buffet that you would get. This is an actual cash money credit that you get when you go and check in to be used for breakfast, again, daily. So every single day that you were to book in this way. At this particular stay, I ended up getting $60 for my wife and I. So $60 for the breakfast that we ended up using the following morning. Also, we ended up getting a $100 food and beverage credit to be used during the stay. In this case, we ended up using the $100 credit towards a spa service for my wife, to which she's never had a massage whatsoever. And I said this would be a cool way to use this credit and just give her a really good time for Valentine's Day. And then we also got guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout, giving us, because we checked in at around 2 p.m., 1 p.m., that gave us over 24 hours in this hotel, about 26 hours, I would say. So the 26 hours in the hotel and $160 in, I guess, food and in this case, spa credits, but most of the time I do for food credits. So $300 out of pocket, but I got back $160 in potential value, food credits, what have you, which I ended up using actually at this on-site bar right here, right on the poolside. It was a really nice stay. So $160 for a $300 stay. So to me, since it was money I would be spending anyway, and we didn't go out to a restaurant, we ate at the hotel, that's only $140 out of pocket for this particular stay. And once again, that was a Marriott hotel, and I received the highest level of statuses you could pretty much earn from Marriott for a one night stay that you could really take advantage of without having to open up the Marriott Brilliant card, without having to do, 30 to 60 nights at a particular hotel. I just paid 300 cash in this way, and I got back half the cost in the daily credits that you get for that overnight stay. So you can already see some of the power and why I love booking in this particular way. But then it gets even crazier because you also have to factor in that case, I had to have an Amex Platinum card to even be able to book in that way as well. This card costs $700 every single year to have access to. But there are other ways to earn access to these types of programs. The simplest way and the cheapest way is any MasterCard World Elite card. In my example, I use the Built card, but technically the Chase Freedom Flex, the Capital One Venture, the City Strata Premier, all of them, if you look at the back of their card, they'll actually should say right here with the MasterCard logo, World Elite. I've talked about this many different times, and there are other ways to book it, but MasterCard I just found is one of the easiest. Also, any Visa card, like if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you have the Visa Signature card, that also, if you call in, you can have access to some of these programs, but MasterCard lets you book it yourself. It's a little bit easier and you don't have to call in. And so with MasterCard, they have what's called the Travel and Lifestyle Services Luxury Hotel and Resorts Program, which once again, complimentary breakfast for two daily, Special amenity credit here, $100, room upgrade, late checkout if available. The only difference is Amex's FHR gives you guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout. MasterCard does not guarantee it, but I've never had an issue getting late checkout so far. And so for the second experience is one that I did maybe a year ago now in Savannah, Georgia, called the Andaz in Savannah. Now, this is a World of Hyatt hotel. And once again, I was able to get all the benefits that you would get as a globalist with Hyatt without actually having to be globalist whatsoever. To which I recounted in this video where I woke up in a MasterCard luxury hotel program hotel. And in this video, I recounted the entire experience altogether. For example, this was a $233 hotel that I paid cash for, cash with my credit card, in which I theoretically put out the idea that if you just had 23,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points that you could cash out at 1 cent per point, you would actually cash out 23,000 points for $230 in cash to pay for this hotel. And I ended up receiving 175 freaking dollars towards the on-site restaurant for breakfast and dining that I made full use of. So in that case, even if you don't factor in cashing out 23,000 points for the hotel and just paying 230 cash, I actually ended up getting back about 80% of the cost in the credits that they gave me, meaning I only spent about $55 out of pocket. For people like my wife and I who really like and enjoy staying at the hotel and eating at the hotel, going out and doing activities, going out, whatever you got to do, come back to the hotel and then have a really nice meal where we got like steak and we got like a bunch of different sides, and the breakfast in the morning was great, chicken and waffles, like an absolutely amazing experience. And once again, I got elite level benefits. I paid $230, but I instantly got upgraded to like an over $300 room, got the $175 credits. I even got a welcome gift where these little, like, I think it was a Ghirardelli, I'm not really sure, but little chocolates that they gave us at check-in, balcony view, a personal thank you letter, like a lot of different things that I got just by booking, again, through MasterCard for these specific programs. In this case, it was Hyatt Privé. And so I didn't need to stay 60 nights, become a Hyatt globalist to experience like all of the benefits of this hotel. But once again, it has to be cash. If you're somebody that travels an insane amount every single year and you stay at, actually 60 hotels, Hyatt hotels every year, you can make so much more out of Hyatt globalist status as opposed to somebody who's just going to Hyatt hotels maybe a couple times a year. How about another example? How about the Waldorf Astoria in New Orleans, where we stayed here for the meetup? This is a hotel that for most people would cost them around $218 for a night. And if booked through the MasterCard Luxury Hotel program, which you could see when I did the breakdown of this hotel, it was $310 in a cash price, and I ended up getting back a $100 experience credit, $60 daily breakfast credit, and if you guys didn't know, even though we're trying to like exclude status, if you have Hilton Gold status or above, a lot of the times, but not always, you can actually stack the Hilton Gold or Diamond dining credits that you would get every night of your stay. So that was a Waldorf Astoria in New Orleans, which means we got an extra $50 every single day of our stay there that, you guessed it, did stack on top of the daily breakfast credits, the $100 experience credit, and then another $50 dining credit from Hilton Gold, giving me $210 in food credits that we absolutely used. We went really crazy. We went ham on using for, again, a $310 hotel. So it's like, did I really spend $310 or did I just spend $310 to get back $210 in food credits? You could do the math at home on what's worth it to you and what's not. For me personally, that's saving a lot of money. And I don't consider it just a $310 hotel. Even factoring in, when you're paying with cash, you also have to factor in what card are you using to pay for those hotels. If you have a card that earns 3x or 4x in the travel category, these hotels will all count towards that travel category. And imagine if you have a Chase card that earns 3x, you would spend $300 and you would end up getting back 900 Chase points. And remember, for those of you who use your points exclusively for a lot of stays, you're not going to be earning, for the most part, your base points, which is only to be earned in cash. So in that example, since I was Hilton Gold status and that all stacks, I got 18 points per dollar spent times the $300+ hotel, and then I ended up getting 12,886 points, not only from the Gold Elite status right here, but then also I got a couple of other promotions because I booked Impresario. You could see right here where I got 2x the amount of points as well. And then when you actually do the math on earning an additional 13,000 points, you also have to factor in, what are those 13,000 Hilton Honors points worth? Which, in my estimation, usually I'm getting anywhere between 0.7 to 1 cent per point. But if you just go by the averages for the people out in the world, usually most people are getting 0.5, maybe 0.6 cents per point. So 13,000 points equals another about $60 in future travel value. So that also works into the math where maybe it wasn't just $210 in food credits that I got back, but also $60 in travel value for the future for another Hilton stay in the future. So like $270 in value for a $310 cash stay, not even factoring in the additional like 1,000 chase points in that example. But you get the point. I love it. All right, back to it. Once again, because I paid cash and I booked for Hilton Impresario and I didn't opt to pay with points. So it's also a good way to generate a lot of points if you're willing to pay cash for a little bit and, I guess have some fun at the hotel. And so you might be wondering, another question is, well, Anthony, if you're Hilton Silver status or above, you actually get fifth night free. What about like getting the fifth night free if you're paying all in points? Like you have to pay cash. If I want to do an extended stay, I'm not really getting that. And the answer is majority of the time, you're right. If you're going to be doing long stays, a lot of the times I'm going to be opting into points. So this way I can get like if it's IHG fourth night free or Hilton fifth night free. But what if I told you that these programs also offered their own free night incentive depending on how many days you book? That's right, that also exists. For example, with the American Express's Fine Hotels and Resorts program right here, you can see some of the times they will offer a cash price for a deal. Sometimes you'll actually have discounted cash rates as well, but a special offer you can see right here, complimentary fourth night. So if you pay for 3 nights, you can get the fourth night free without needing points, without doing any of that. Obviously, this is a really expensive hotel, so you have to be willing to spend, $2,700 to get that fourth night free. Or even look right here, this one's complimentary third night. So pay for 2 nights, get the third one free. And you might be saying like, listen, Anthony, that's $2,000 for 2 nights just to get a third night free. Is that really worth it? To which some people it might be worth it, to some it wouldn't. I tend to want to spend less cash out of pocket. So there are a lot of other hotels that are a lot cheaper where you can get in the $200-300 range and you can get third night free. So you just have to look around a little bit. Look at this Hawaiian hotel right here. $556 a night, which is really not that bad. And if you stay between 514 and 519, complimentary fourth night free. And you get an additional 375 food and beverage credit at that resort that you can use one time, big dinner, big couple days of dinner. I mean, that's pretty cool if you ask me. Even look right down here, the Conrad Centennial in Singapore, $271 a night between these dates, complimentary fourth night free. And the same actually goes for MasterCard and their luxury hotel program and any of the programs we talked about today. And so, yes, third night, fourth night free also is possible. Again, has to be paid in cash, but just know that it is a possibility. You usually have to be in special promotions, special times. But a lot of the times, if you sign up for the newsletter for like Amex or MasterCard or even mine down below, every now and again, I think going forward, I'll try to find some of these deals and I could send them out via newsletter. So I think that would be cool too. So if you want to sign up for that, it's down below. So I guess you could see why I kind of am in love with these types of programs because, well, sometimes I'm okay with paying cash. If I'm short on points or if I want to earn some points really quickly, if I want to get a lot of experience credits or eat at the hotel, I think a lot of the times it can make sense. Like I have so far had not paid more than around a little over $300 for a cash day. And every single time that I've done it in this way, I've gotten at least 50% of my money back in food credits that I use at the specific hotel. So I think that in itself is pretty powerful, which spawns a whole nother debate on whether or not if you're going to be staying like one night, should I cash out points or should I transfer to hotel? There's a whole nother story. One last way, if you're going to be paying in cash, something is a more of a recent discovery, is this company called Gondola. I did a whole video kind of talking through how I think it's actually going to change the whole credit card game in the future. And you can see right here, immediately, it's a platform that is made by and built for credit card people because it says right here, this Park Hyatt in New York, if you want to use your 45,000 Hyatt points to book this crazy night hotel, it's 3.82 cents per point, and it's all built into the program. I actually really, really love this thing, and I think they're going to do some great things. It keeps track of all your points, your credit card points, your loyalty program points, allows you to book direct with the hotel, so I don't even have to leave this platform if I want to book this Hyatt hotel. It's not third party. It's still direct with the hotel itself, so no issue there. But they actually do this pretty cool thing, like if you wanted to pay cash through their site, if you scroll down a little bit, you could see what you're going to be earning from a particular stay if you're going to be paying cash. cash, like we mentioned. Now, it's not going to come with all those other benefits like the $100 credit, breakfast credit, all these different things. I think they're working on it for the future. But if you're just, a straight cash user, you could technically get some benefits back, like the Hyatt points you would earn, 2 status nights for paying cash, which you would get anyway by booking direct. But because you use Gondola, as a thank you to them for paying cash and using their program, they give you 3% back in Gondola cash. So, which is $3,700 hotel in this example times 3% back in Gondola cash. They'll give you $100 back into your account that you could use for future stays as a thank you for using their program. So there's many, many different ways to core the apple, as they say, I guess. Is that what they say? But you can pay points. If you're doing a lot of stays, I think points is always the thing I'm usually opting into first. But there have been a lot of stays that I've done in the past where the points were really expensive. The cent per point was really low, but they were available on these specific special programs where I can get some value back. Every single time going forward since I learned about this, I've been paying cash for those types of hotels. But for really long stays or some aspirational stays, expensive stays, $1,000 a night, it's points all the way, because usually those higher ends is where you're going to get the high value. And I'm by no means downplaying status in the hotel. I love my Hilton Gold. High Globalist I've experienced in the past with my guest of honor certificate. It blows me away. I'm just saying, for these use cases, for people like myself who sometimes do just overnight stays or a couple night stays, I think it could be incredibly beneficial. And so let me know your thoughts down below. If you want completely for free, sign up for Gondola down in the pinned comment if you want to book some cash stays, or even use your points to book some stays. Right below that's my newsletter, where I'm going to be sending out more regular things about these types of programs and just anything else I find interesting in the points and miles game. And if you want to see that Waldorf Astoria experience where we actually had a whole credit card creator meetup where I got a $200+ in food credits for an amazing dinner with all of my best friends in the space, check out this video right here. I hope to see you there. I hope you get some value from it. And as always, thank you guys for being early to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Take care and keep traveling.